Alright, hello guys, welcome to my channel, Mr. Ade Ayo Bet Predict, the channel that try to give you guys the best betting strategy. Actually, in today's particular video, I'm going to inform you guys about a particular new update. Currently, we know that in the past, the last weekend, most of the games, I'm very sure many people would have lost their games as a result of some games or some match. So one thing about this particular thing is that about this particular sports game is that uh, the percentage of people that lose their game in a day is always more than people that are winning. But this particular thing, if at least you happen to be someone that is predicting maybe 10 to 20 games and two or one of it is cutting, you happens to be a professional tipster, because this thing is not something that will involve us in any way. Any factors can influence outcomes of a game, and the results that we are expecting sometimes may not come our way. But there's a particular thing that I devised of recent, but the only remaining thing is for its outcome. But before I proceed, I would like to show you guys some things. So there was a particular time I thought using the double chance betting strategy sometimes will be the thing that will only save you from losing your games, because I think double chance seems to be something that is very safe compared to that of straight winning. But unfortunately, there are some games that when you play them and they happens to have the all necessary factors, they possess all the necessary factors to win the game or even draw at worst situation, but the game will always end up the other way around. This particular game that you guys are saying, this particular game is supposed to end up in the home team to win or draw, and at worst cases, like maybe probably they eventually lost the game, they are not really expected to lose the game by 2 goal difference. I'm going to show you guys an example of what I'm talking about. All right, so in situation like this, I always consider some other factors, to validate probability of picking the games as handicap, and this led to how I started picking handicap games for my VIP group games. So for a particular period of times, this particular handicap actually saved most of my tickets sometimes. So I started using it often and often and often, but I noticed that this particular thing is working out for example, games that you are meant to predict as double chance. Maybe probably you predicted it as a handicap, and probably the team you were expecting to win are lost by 1 goal difference. But you have to consider some other factors, think of some other things that can influence the games to come out this way around, something like that. So the thing was working out so well, and I thought probably maybe I've seen a particular betting strategy that happens to be almighty. This particular game won every time we win. If at least we're having 9/10 consistency of winning. But it got to a particular time, a particular period of time, whereby I predicted a particular game under the Premier League, and that is the match between, I think, Newcastle. If I can still find the tickets in this particular video, let me check. Let me check this. Let me check if I can still find that particular game. Alright, yes, this particular match. So we were having a consistent winning, and I predicted the particular match here, and that match happens to be the match against West Ham, Newcastle versus West Ham. Actually, that particular game, if you guys go back and you guys try to do a back testing for that particular game on a normal day, Newcastle were supposed to win this particular match, and if at all they did not win, the match supposed to end up as home team to win the game or draw, or at worst situation, considering other factors, the common process I used in predicting my handicap games, considering that this particular match, Newcastle versus West Ham, supposed to end up as at least maybe probably the home team losing by 1 goal difference. But this particular match ended up in, I think, maybe 0-2. The match ended up in 0-2, and since then the consistency in this particular handicap stores was not really working out so well. So as a result of this, I decided to work out so a particular plan. All right, so in order to solve things and probably to create something new, I went back to a particular old betting strategy that I use, which happens to be the over 1.5 goals betting strategy. And one thing about this particular betting strategy that made me to abandon it happens to be that sometimes when you predicted the games, probably games of maybe 20 games or 15 games, and you are seeing maybe cut 2 or cut 1 from it, and what we cut the game will be that maybe you predicted the game as over 1.5 goals, as you guys are seeing most of the games here are predicting it as over 1.5 goals, and unfortunately the games can end up sometimes in probably 1-0 or 0-1. So that happens to be the reason why I decided to abandon this particular betting strategy. So but now I decided to go back to that particular betting strategy, to engage in this particular plan. So this particular strategy of over 1.5 goals, I used the strategy again, and unfortunately what I was actually expecting occurred again, because I knew that probably there is this particular probability that this particular game can actually end up in probably a 1-0 in four, but the exact game that will end up in 1-0 is what I don't know. So I decided to go for all the games as over 0.5 goals, and to my surprise, one of this particular game I played as Asia over 1, which is some kind of equivalent to over predicting over 0.5 goals. But in this particular situation of Asia over 1, if the match ended up in 1-0, your money will be recorded as void, which means they will return the money to you, which means you don't lost and you don't win. So the rest that I predicted as pure over 0.5 goals came out well as over 1.5. So this is one thing about this particular strategy of over 1.5 goals. The game that will end up in 1-0, you won't know, but trust me, using this particular betting strategy always end up over 1.5 goals. So but only sometimes that it will end up in 1-0, and that is the only problem about it. So this particular process of predicting the game as over 0.5 goals is what I'm currently planning as to apply to a particular rollover plan. So this particular rollover plan will consist of just 1.3 odd daily. But one thing about this 1.3 odd daily is just that it will only be occurring for 7 days, and after every 7 days I'm going to restart. Not like something that you guys are really seeing on the screen that will fully occur for 30 days. But if you have some people that want to go for straight 30 days, you are free to do that. But for my own plan, I want to make it be like a weekly stuffs, a weekly rollover, maybe starting from Monday and stopping at Friday or Sunday. A 7 days rollover stuffs using this particular betting strategy, because I at some point I thought the handicap betting strategy can actually work out for it, but the problem there is just that when exactly the game will cut, no one knows. The same thing happens to predicting over 1.5 goals. So that's why I just decided to start using this particular betting strategy for over 0.5 goals, since the worst case of this particular betting strategy is under 1.5, probably around maybe just 1 goals in a game. So and the issue of going for the double chance, because there's a particular app that I've shown you guys that always predicts double chance for me, and relying on the double chance, it may not always work, because looking at this particular game very well, because considering all the factors in football games, all the stats and everything, history and everything like that, this particular game supposed to end up in home team to win the game, considering every factors and also considering the odds. And even if you try to calculate the odd probability of maybe probably the who to win the game, or at least the game to end up in a win or draw, the home team is expected to win this particular game. And if you want to apply the handicap strategy of the home, there's no way you can get the odd for that, because the odd for the home team to win the game is very very ridiculous already, and the game ended up in a away team winning. That is football for you, and anything can happen. So I hope you guys, and right now I'm not saying that there is a particular strategy that will give you 100% accuracy. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that there's a particular strategy that is almighty. Anything can happen in sport games. I realized and accepted that this last weekend because different things just happened. So in case you want to join us on this particular journey of the rollover, I'll be starting the stuffs in the next 3 days to 4 days, and we are going to be starting with our VIP members on the group because the handicap betting strategy that I showed you guys will only be done once, because to see games like that safe is very very hard, because there are other factors that I always consider to predict the games as handicap. For example, if I wanted to predict this particular Barcelona games, if you look into my VIP groups, I won't try to go for double chance at all. Most times I don't like playing double chance unless a particular time that I used the app that I showed you guys on this particular channel, and that I used that to predict double chance, and that was the only period that I shared the double chance source to the group. But from that, I don't really like playing double chance. So, in case you want to join us on our group channel, you can click on the group link in the video description and also in the comment section. And also, if you want to join our WhatsApp group, you can join the link, and see you guys in the next video. In case you have any question or you want to talk about anything, you can drop it in the comment section. Bye.